Hey everybody, Sultan Shinola here, coming to you with thoughts for the weekend for this Friday, May 4th. Yes, we're in May already. And being the first Friday of the month, that's the month that the unemployment number comes out for the previous month. So we'll get right into that. For the month of April, the Fed announced that the unemployment rate was down to 8.1%, which, it's only a drop of 0.1% from 8.2 the prior month. Now, how do they achieve this miraculous drop in unemployment? Well, they just took 522 million or 522,000 people and put them in the non-participation bucket. Now, the labor participation rate is down to 63.6%, which is putting it right on par with about 1980 in that time frame, which was about the worst of the recession coming after the Carter years. What's kind of funny is on Zero Hedge this morning, when we first looked at it, they were making fun of the Federal Reserve, who puts out a chart on people not in the labor force. Their chart always topped out at 88 million. Well, we're now at 88,400,000 people not in the labor force. So they reported the 435,000. Their chart only went up to 88 million, and so it actually was off the charts. Since then, of course, somebody mentioned it to them, I think, because now when you look at the chart, they've adjusted it up to 90 million. So maybe that's a sign of things to come, that pretty soon we'll have 90 million people out of work, or choosing not to work anymore. Does anyone really believe that these people don't want to work, that people just enjoy being at home without a job, living off welfare? I mean, for a small portion of them, or who knows, maybe a sizable portion, they enjoy sitting at home. There was also a report that filings for disability have skyrocketed, and I think that's the new wave. That is, people, their unemployment benefits end, all their savings is used up, they have nothing else to do but wait. If they can get somebody to say that yes, they are disabled, then they can go ahead and file for disability, and that's just one more payment that they can get from the taxpayer. I mean, I'm not going to discount, there are people out there who legitimately are out of work, who are legitimately disabled, and this does not take away. All I'm saying is that the numbers don't lie. The reports are that these things are increasing at a rate faster than normal, and it just has to do with, hey, people need money, they need to live, they need to feed their family, feed themselves, keep a roof over their head. People are going to do what they have to do. Until the government gets out of the way and allows this economy to start going back up, we're stuck. So, welcome to the new reality. Speaking of new reality, it looks like we have some new Federalists in the House, and it's not in this country. It looks like members of Europe are looking to, turn Europe into, say, something resembling the United States of Europe, if you will. There's there was a plot going on, a covert plot by members of the EU to create a unified EU president who would be in charge of all EU nations to make decisions on economic and other policy issues. This person would replace, there are currently two presidents, quasi-presidents if you will, in the EU. There's a president of the European Council and a president of the European Commission. Now, the president of the European Commission was elected by members of the European Union, and the president of the European Council was elected to, or elected by, or chosen by EU member states to represent them. So both of these are appointments, currently appointments by different bodies of the EU, if you will, some by members of the European Commission and others by each of the member states. So they're talking about how this, under the plan, the single figure would be elected by Euro MPs, members of Parliament, and that person would perform both the roles of those two presidents. A lot of people are afraid that this is very similar to, creating another Roman Empire or Napoleon's idea of unifying all of Europe under one ruler. So, of course, what's interesting about this is that they're all planning to leave Great Britain out of it. They don't want to include the UK, which, of course, the UK is a little bit worried about. They're thinking this whole thing is a little bit shady, a little bit on the down low. And it looks like, who knows. Europe's kind of been on the outs, or not Europe, but the UK has been on the outs with the EU anyway over the past few years, and so it's not shocking that they may want to create a United States of Europe and exclude the UK, and then maybe take over the UK later through armed aggression. So, you haven't had a world war in a while, so why not? Let's get it going, right? Speaking of possibly war getting started, it seems like Russian Chief of General Staff, I guess is like Chief of Staff for the Pentagon here in the United States, Nikolai Makarov has made a statement at a European meeting going on over U.S. plans to, build the NATO missile shield in Europe. He basically came out and said, if you do it, we're going to go ahead and use destructive force to take these bases out before you can arm them. So, it was a pretty open threat. A lot of people were taken aback by it. They were kind of shocked at the forwardness of the Russian general to come out and say that, if the U.S. doesn't back down from its plans to put these missiles in Eastern Europe as a, potential protection against missiles coming out of Iran, then Russia says they're going to go ahead and just take these bases out, which of course would start another war. But they're looking at this and saying that if the missiles are ever upgraded, that they could potentially be used to stop a Russian missile, ICBM, from launching from somewhere deep in the interior of the Soviet Union, not the Soviet Union, but Russia. And by such, having those missiles there, then that basically nullifies their ability to use that mutually assured destruction method of, making sure that nobody attacks them, we don't attack them, they don't attack us. They basically would feel like they were standing there with their shorts down because they were just afraid that we're going to come rolling in and attack them and take over their country any minute now, right? They're saying the missiles can be in Europe, they just don't want them anywhere where the interceptor missiles could be used to reach into Russian airspace. Of course, we're telling them that we really don't care. We're not looking to shoot down their missiles. We're only concerned with missiles coming out of the Middle East into Europe. But they don't really care. They said, maybe if we would allow them to jointly control these missiles, that maybe they would accept it, which, we're going to turn the keys over to these missiles to the Russians so they could turn them off anytime they wanted. They're already buddies with Syria and Iran, some other countries that don't want to do us or Europe any good. So can you really trust a Russian? One of the analysts looking at this said that he must have been drunk to make such a statement, which, that's kind of a slap in the face too. I mean, I don't know. It looks like maybe someone forgot to tell this general that Obama already let him know that, hey, don't worry about it, I got your back. As soon as I win the election in November, we're going to go ahead and take the missiles out, and we'll just get rid of all of our missiles so you don't have to worry about it, and maybe Iran will get rid of theirs too, right? The last story I want to talk about has to do with the beating of a white couple in Norfolk, Virginia. This happened a few weeks ago, and it went several weeks before it was even mentioned in the newspaper. And what's kind of ironic about that is that the two people that were beat were reporters for that newspaper in town. It was reporters Dave Forster and Marjan Rostami, and both white. Apparently they were out one night heading home or wherever. I'm pretty sure they were heading home is what it said. And they were 4 blocks from the newspaper and came up to a red light and stopped, and according to police, several entertainment venues let out at the same time in that area. So there was suddenly a flood of people into the area. According to the couple, she reached over, locked her door. Somebody threw something, hit the window. The driver, Dave Forster, got out of his car to have some words with whoever threw whatever it was at the car. And that's when the beating began. You can't really go by what police have reported because the police officer on the scene didn't even care. He told the female, who obviously was hysterical because they got surrounded by a mob, and she got punched and hit, and the gentleman in the car was pulled out and beaten as well. And the cop told her to shut up and get back in the car, and the cop took no names. In fact, The report was filed as a simple assault. It wasn't filed as anything, more substantial, but simple assault. It's become more prevalent in the last, 5 years or so that black on white crime, not even talked about, really even covered, yet white on black, it's really hyped up and presented out there as racism. I think all of these are equally disgusting. It's cowardice, it's a lack of morals in our society, and yet the stories are treated differently depending on the news media outlets and who the victims are and who the perpetrators are. It's almost like if your circumstances and your race are of a certain background, then you're going to get a pass because you've suffered some injustices in your life, and so you really don't have a reason to be treated poorly. Whereas if you're the victim, such as in this case, it's your fault because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Don't you know this is what kids do? They're bored, they got nothing to do, so you got no one to blame but yourself for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Kind of like with the young gentleman that got beat down there in Baltimore a couple months ago. Beat down, and I think it was St. Patty's Day, and stripped naked and everything. Same situation. They pretty much said, it's your fault for being wrong place at the wrong time. So, we have two different court systems in this country, it seems, these days, and we don't get charges pressed against some against the same as we would against others. So, we got to keep walking on eggshells and pretending like nothing's happening, nothing's wrong. I think it's just, I'm almost going to say it's, I'm not going to say it's, racial crime. I'm just going to say it's crime. But treat everybody the same, no matter if it's white, black, red, brown, whatever. If you do a crime like this, you go to jail. Anyway, that's all I've got for the weekend. Feel free to do a video response or leave a comment. Try to answer as many as I can. Video responses are easier because I can just link them right here to this video, and we can have a discussion going with people and get people talking about some of these things. I almost forgot, website video site of the week. Check out Prepper Productions, and you can find prepperproductions.com, or you can go to YouTube channel Prepper Productions, and you will see moi, yours truly, doing the weekly news report over on the Preppers News Network, the PNN. So if you haven't seen it yet, either go to YouTube channel Prepper Productions or go to prepperproductions.com, and I'll have a link up there and also down. Actually, I'm not going to have a link up there. Well, I'll have a link to the YouTube channel right there, and a link down below to the website where there's going to be more information, and there will be links there to other information coming up soon. More people are going to be contributing to some of the information going on that website as well. And it's just one more way where I'll talk more about prepping news versus this one, which is more of social, economic, political type news. So anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed, and we'll catch you all next week. SOS out.